Welcome to episode 4 of Priviso Live, your dose of insights and tips on all things information security, ICT legislation and risk. Brought to you by Priviso Consulting. This is Lynn, as always. This week we introduce a change. Nathan sadly has commitments that preclude him from continuing on the show, and so he leaves with our thanks. The good news is that Stephen Kay has stepped in at short notice and will be with us for the foreseeable future. Welcome, Stephen.
Thank you, Lynn. I doubt I will be able to fill Nathan's shoes, but I'll certainly try.
Well, I understand that you bring technical insights and practical experience, so I am sure you will.
This week we're going to demystify something that everyone in networking and security talks about, but possibly doesn't fully understand: network ports.
You mean the open port on the side of your laptop where you plug in your USB?
That's the first potential misconception for the layman. No, that's a hardware port. We are talking about a software or network port.
I see, I think. You'll need to explain some more. What is the point?
Imagine a computer connecting to other computers to provide services of some kind. Say you're streaming video from YouTube or maybe getting your email. You don't get the entire video or email in that form. The computers talk to one another using packets of information in an ongoing conversation, receiving and sending packets to one another for the duration of the connection or session.
It sounds a bit like a phone call. Each person on the call speaks and then waits for a response, yes?
Exactly, Lynn. But it's different in one key respect. An email is completely different to stream video, and each has to be treated differently by the computer.
I get that, of course. But give me more detail. Different in what way?
Well, firstly, the packets contain different information, may be designed for speed or accuracy, and have to be sent to different programs.
Okay.
Computers often have many of these conversations at once. Imagine you have your mail application open in the background, you're streaming music, and you're browsing a website. That's 3 different types of data transfer and 3 different applications that the computer is managing simultaneously.
I'm beginning to see the light, I think. The computer needs some way to know which packets go to which application.
Exactly. Remember that a computer is always listening for new conversations. When a packet arrives at the beginning of a session, the computer must have a mechanism to understand what to do with it.
And that's the port?
Well, partly yes. The packet will contain a port number which tell the computer what type of dialogue this is, and so it can respond with the correct protocol. The packet will also contain sufficient information for the computer to know which application to pass the packet on to.
Protocol?
That is simply the packet structure and the sequences in which packets are sent and received. Let's use the phone call as an example. When you call someone and they answer, they will usually say hello and introduce themselves before the call starts.
And the caller will do the same and indicate why they are calling.
Exactly. Generally, everyone understands that sequence and uses it. That is one protocol for interpersonal communications.
It's not the same in every culture, though. Some cultures ask about the recipient's health before they identify themselves.
That's a different protocol, and in the same way, computers have different protocols for various applications.
So when the computer receives a packet with a port number, the computer will understand what that port number means.
Yes. Port numbers are formalized and published by the Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, so everyone knows what numbers to use and what they refer to. Popular applications use some well-known port numbers. For example, web servers typically use port 80, while email servers often use port 25 to communicate.
Okay, but what does this have to do with security?
Firstly, packets can be malicious as well as beneficial. As an example, bad actors will sometimes modify the packets in ways that cause the application to malfunction. Secondly, there's an operational component. If you can limit the types of packets your computer listens for, the less computer clock cycles will be wasted. In short, you only want to listen for the needed packet types.
That's what they mean when they say you open or close ports?
Precisely, Lynn. Every open port that is not required increases risk and reduces efficiency.
It's quite apparent when you explain it that way.
It's also not only true for computers. Firewalls, for example, close ports to provide a layer of defense between the internet and internal networks.
I can imagine a hacker would start by identifying what ports are open so they would know how to attack.
Right again. So security administrators should constantly monitor that all unnecessary ports are closed, and many tools exist to do this, such as Nmap.
Thank you, Stephen. I think that's all pretty clear. To the listeners, thank you for tuning in, and we hope you found this episode interesting.
If you want to hear more of the same, don't forget to subscribe or like our channel to receive future episodes. You can find us on all major podcast channels, including Apple, Samsung, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. As always, this is sponsored by Priviso Consulting, your partner when trust matters.
Until next week, ciao ciao.
Goodbye all.